of the evolving geopolitical landscape, Japan is embarking on a significant transformation that could alter the balance of power in the Asia-Pacific region. This shift, characterized by the deployment of advanced missile systems and strategic military alliances, is aimed at countering China's expanding influence, particularly around Taiwan. The initiative, spearheaded by Japan, signal a departure from its traditional defense posture, opting instead for a proactive stance that seeks to establish a formidable deterrent against potential Chinese aggression. Japan's strategic pivot involves the deployment of Type 25 hypersonic missiles, along with kamikaze drones, to its southwestern islands, forming what is described as a massive missile constellation. This development, which also includes fortifications in the Pacific and military economic partnerships with Europe and Ukraine, represents a fundamental shift in Japan's approach to regional security. The transit corridors in the Taiwan Strait, critical for Chinese naval movements, are increasingly being blocked, effectively shrinking Beijing's maneuverability and complicating its regional ambitions. The driving force behind these strategic changes is Japan's Defense Minister Sanae Takaichi, often referred to as the Iron Lady. Her strategy prioritizes strengthening Japan's economy while safeguarding national interest through a robust foreign and security policy. This approach is fundamentally altering Asia's future by severing maritime bridges around Taiwan with what is metaphorically described as Japan's spear. On March 31st, 2026, Japan took a significant step by deploying Type 25 surface-to-ship missiles to Camp Kenjin in Kumamoto. This move establishes a deterrence line with the capability to target the Chinese mainland directly, thus enhancing Japan's ability to thwart potential Chinese amphibious operations in the East China Sea. These missiles, with a range of 1,000 kilometers, represent a powerful tool in Japan's new defense strategy. Future variants of these systems could potentially extend their reach to 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers, directly threatening Chinese logistics lines around Taiwan. Japan's commitment to bolstering its defense capabilities is further underscored by the integration of 400 Tomahawk cruise missiles acquired from the United States into its Aegis destroyers. This integration, completed in March 2026 on the JS Chokai, provides Japan with a sea-based counterstrike capability with a range of 1,600 kilometers. These systems are coordinated under a joint operations command that integrates land, sea, and air forces, with U.S. intelligence maximizing targeting precision. The geography of Japan's missile deployments is critical to understanding the scope of its strategy. The Nansei/Ryukyu island chain stretches along the East China Sea, ending less than 70 miles from Taiwan. Key choke points such as the Miyako Strait are now within range of Japanese missile battery. Complicating Chinese plans to encircle or invade Taiwan. Fortifications on islands like Yonaguni, Ishigaki, and Miyako have been dramatically expanded, with electronic warfare teams and air defense missiles poised to disrupt enemy communications and movements. This transformation is not limited to conventional missiles. Japan is drawing lessons from conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East to reshape its strategic thinking. Reports from the Yomiuri Shimbun and Kyodo News indicate that Japan is prioritizing the development of kamikaze unmanned aerial vehicles, or loitering munitions, with ranges exceeding 1,000 kilometers. These drones are designed to neutralize enemy air defenses and strike missile launch sites akin to the integrated attack model Ukraine has employed against Russia. Japan's cooperation with Ukraine serves as a concrete example of this strategic evolution. In March 2026, Japanese drone company TerraDrone invested in Kharkiv, facilitating the transfer of combat experience and technology. If low-cost interceptor drones developed by Ukraine begin production in Japan, an asymmetric defense layer could emerge to deplete China's expensive missile stockpiles. This synergy between Japan and Ukraine presents a unique challenge to China as it faces threats on both the European and Asia-Pacific fronts. Japan's transformation extends beyond the Asia-Pacific, with new alliance networks established with Europe adding a global dimension to its strategy. A defense roadmap signed during French President Emmanuel Macron's visit to Tokyo in early April 2026 has established a direct military bridge between Japan and Europe. This includes discussions on reciprocal access agreements, joint exercises, and space defense data sharing. The roadmap also addresses economic dependencies, with a focus on reducing reliance on critical minerals where China holds significant control. The economic aspect of Japan's strategy is significant. A roadmap on rare earth elements, signed with France, aims to break dependence on minerals where China controls a substantial portion of global production. The Kermag refinery project in France is expected to meet 20% of Japan's heavy rare earth needs, reducing China's leverage in this critical area. China has characterized these developments as an anti-China front, reflecting Beijing's unease over Japan's strategic moves. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning has described Japan's missile deployment as exceeding the scope of legitimate self-defense, while the PLA Daily, the flagship newspaper of the Chinese military, labeled the new Type 12 missile as an attack capability rather than defensive. In response to Japan's actions, China has initiated military maneuvers, including the deployment of a fleet into the Sea of Japan. This reflexive move suggests that Tokyo's actions have directly impacted Beijing's operational planning. Additionally, China has attempted to link Japan's internal security issues to core criticism of its military expansion. Highlighting the sensitivity of this issue in China, Japan's strategic transformation is fundamentally reshaping the balance of power in the Taiwan Strait. Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's assertion that a Taiwan crisis is a Japan crisis has become official policy, with Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi stating that Japan could become involved in a conflict if China attempts to forcibly seize Taiwan. Former National Security Advisor Nagashima has emphasized that if Taiwan falls under Beijing's control, the foundations of Japan's national security would be shattered, effectively shifting the border from Shanghai to Taipei. In this context, Japan's strategy is defined as defense through denial, aiming to raise the cost of an attack so high that Beijing realizes it won't get a return on its investment. According to Ken Jimbo, an expert in the field, Tokyo is signaling to Beijing that it would be very, very costly for Chinese ships to navigate 8 narrow waterways like the Miyako Strait. Japan's recent military enhancements and strategic realignments are significantly altering the geopolitical balance in the Asia-Pacific region, with potential implications for global security dynamics. As tensions between Japan and China escalate, particularly over the Taiwan Strait, Japan is undertaking a substantial shift in its defense posture, focusing on creating a robust deterrence against potential Chinese aggression. Central to Japan's strategy is the deployment of advanced missile systems on its southwestern islands. These moves are designed not merely as a defensive measure, but as a proactive step to counter China's growing influence. This transformation is characterized by the introduction of Type 25 hypersonic missiles and kamikaze drones, forming a massive missile constellation that effectively shrinks Beijing's maneuverability. Japan's defense minister, Sanae Takaichi, often referred to as the Iron Lady, is at the forefront. Of these changes, her strategy emphasizes strengthening Japan's economy while safeguarding national interests through a comprehensive foreign and security policy. This approach is fundamentally altering Asia's future, severing maritime bridges around Taiwan with what is metaphorically described as Japan's spear. On March 31st, 2026, Japan made a decisive move by deploying Type 25 surface-to-ship missiles to Camp Kenjin in Kumamoto. This deployment establishes a deterrence line capable of directly targeting the Chinese mainland, thus enhancing Japan's ability to thwart potential Chinese amphibious operations in the East China Sea. These missiles, with a range of 1,000 kilometers, represent a powerful tool in Japan's new defense arsenal. The deployment of Type 25 hypervelocity gliding projectiles to Camp Fuji in Shizuoka further strengthens Japan's strategic position. These systems are capable of bypassing China's air defense systems due to their hypersonic speed, with future Varia NTS potentially reaching ranges of 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers. This capability enables Japan to directly strike Chinese logistics lines around Taiwan, complicating Beijing's plans to encircle the island. Beijing's ambitions for regional hegemony are encountering a tangible obstacle as Japan's strategic transformation unfolds. For the first time, China's plans to dominate the region must account for a barrage of missiles originating from Japan's southwestern bases. This marks a strategic turning point that effectively blocks the maritime corridors in the Taiwan Strait. In addition to missile deployments, Japan has integrated 400 Tomahawk cruise missiles acquired from the U.S. into Aegis destroyers. This integration provides Japan with a sea-based counterstrike capability with a range of 1,600 kilometers. All these systems are coordinated under Joint Operations Command, maximizing targeting precision through integrated operations of land, sea, and air forces. Geographically, the Nansei Ryukyu Island chain is crucial to Japan's strategy, stretching along the East China Sea off Japan's southwest coast. These islands end less than 70 miles from Taiwan. Yonaguni, Ishigaki, and Miyako Islands control key choke points in scenarios where China seeks to encircle or invade Taiwan. For Chinese warships to exit the first island chain, they must pass through narrow waterways like the Miyako Strait, which are now within range of Japanese missile batteries. Fortifications on these islands began a decade ago but gained dramatic momentum in 2026. Yonaguni Island, just 110 kilometers from Taiwan, now houses a coastal observation unit, electronic warfare teams, and will soon host air defense missiles. In 2022, a missile landing near Yonaguni during China's exercises around Taiwan pushed Tokyo toward more proactive fortification efforts. Electronic jamming systems designed to disrupt enemy communications are now being installed on the island, making it Japan's first base specialized in this field.